Hello everyone, this video goes through the story of Nioh 1 and 2. In 1600, William, an Irish sailor, was contracted by Queen Elizabeth I to import emerald stones from Japan during the war with Spanish. But he was caught by England and imprisoned in order to keep these ambitions a secret. With the help of Saoirse, a water spirit that has accompanied him since childhood, William breaks out of his cell in London Tower. Then he runs into Edward Kelly, another individual also after Japan's emerald stones. Kelly uses a special dragon spirit, Ouroboros, to capture Saoirse and try to kill William. As it turns out, emerald stones have special powers to bring the dead back to life and give humans superpowers by turning them into demons. After defeating the demon summoned by Kelly, William sets off on a journey to Japan to save his spirit guardian, Saoirse. Landing in Japan, he finds the area ravaged by ghosts, which is called yokai by the local people. He soon meets a ninja, Hanzo, who offers to help find Kelly in exchange for fighting yokai together. Nioh, a benevolent cat yokai, tells William about the past century of war in Japan, and also tells him that the delicate balance between good and evil spirits has been disrupted because of the war. Possessed by Nioh, William begins to understand Japanese. William's work against the yokai and saving key figures earns him the favor of Lord Tokugawa Ieyasu, who is planning to conquer and reunite Japan. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Kelly approaches Ishida Mitsunari, the commander of Japan's Western Army, who in return allies himself and his supporters with Kelly in hopes to maintain Japan not wholly ruled by Ieyasu. After getting acquainted with a female ninja, Okatsu, William learns that Ieyasu sacrificed many of his families in a ruthless bid for power, and Okatsu herself is one of Ieyasu's illegitimate daughters. Along his journey, William catches up with Kelly several times and thwarts his plot to ravage Japan. Kelly first impersonates samurai Tachibana in an attempt to undermine his wife, Ginchiyo, and then resurrects Princess Nioh, the wife of the most powerful overlord in Sengoku era, Oda Nobunaga, making her Yuki Onna to fight William. When breaking the emerald seal to release the evil spirits inside, Kelly is again caught by William, who barely stopped the spirits with help from Nioh, who sacrificed itself to give William enough time to restore the seal. In Edo Castle, William saves Okatsu from Kelly's control and escapes with her when Ieyasu arrives. Events come to a head during the Battle of Sekigahara, where Ieyasu is facing his ultimate challenge from his rival alliance, the Toyotomi clan. William first defeats Otani Yoshitsugu, a general of Toyotomi clan, who uses Kelly's alchemy to empower his weakened body, and then Shima Sakan, Mitsunari's favorite samurai. With Mitsunari's army routed by Ieyasu's forces, Kelly convinces Mitsunari to allow ritual to offer the lifeless 300 men to animate a Gashada Kuro, a yokai born from dead soldiers. William defeats it with the help of Tenkai, a monk aiding Ieyasu's forces. Afterwards, Ieyasu has William pursue Mitsunari, who has fled into Ibuki Mountain. Before fighting, Mitsunari reveals William his purpose to resurrect his lord, Hideyoshi, who can create a Japan of righteousness, where the weak and strong coexist in harmony. However, Kelly backstabs him, turning him into a yokai hybrid, which William defeats and returns to human form. Tenkai also reveals himself as Akechi Mitsuhide, a former general who has betrayed and killed his master, Oda Nobunaga, the most powerful overlord in Sengoku era. He tells Mitsunari that there's something more important than his righteousness, the greater good. He also tells William that Kelly's next target is to resurrect the overlord, Oda Nobunaga, returning Japan into a bloodshed land. William pursues Kelly to a hideout, where he disrupts his attempts to resurrect Nobunaga. Kelly flees with Nobunaga's body, while William is entangled with the battle of another samurai. In Nobunaga's reconstructed Azuchi Castle, William finds Kelly again, with resurrected Nobunaga by his side. Though William is subdued by Nobunaga, the overlord rebels against Kelly's control, refuses to kill William, and leaves. Cornered and defeated, Kelly uses Ouroboros and Searcher's energy to resurrect Yamato no Orochi, a mystical giant serpent. William defeats the serpent, and from a dying Kelly learns about his master, John Dee. Having reclaimed the Searcher, he decides to disappear to avoid being killed by Ieyasu's order. Though not willing to see his departure, Okazu goes with Hanzo. Following Mitsunari's execution, Ieyasu established the reign of Tokugawa shogunate in Japan, hiding the truth of yokai and William's involvement. 3 years later, William returns to England to confront Kelly's master, Dee. When William refuses Dee's offer of a partnership to guide England towards world conquest following the death of Elizabeth I, the master activates an elevator around his chamber, bringing William and himself into a secret tower where there are massive stores of emerita. Then he absorbs them and transforms into a monstrous apparition. William defeats and blinds him before his return to Japan. "40 years before William's first arrival in Japan, Hide, a young man who awakens from a recurring nightmare, saves a villager from a yokai. He finds a mysterious letter which leads him to Josansakura. There, Hide finds a giant yokai, Metsuki, the battle with which triggers out his own yokai power. When he begins to lose control of his power, he is saved by Tokichiro, the sender of the letter. Tokichiro makes a living on the spirit stones, and he demands that the two venture along, which Hide agrees. The two befriend each other and enter the employ of Saito Dosan, the ruler of Mino province. Then they meet a female demon hunter, Mumio, who joins their journey. Soon afterwards, Dosan's men rebel against him, and Hide and Tokichiro attempt to save Dosan. In the last moment, Dosan reveals that Hide is his son with a yokai woman, then sacrifices himself to stop a large group of yokai from following Hide. Afterwards, Hide and Tokichiro seek an audience with Oda Nobunaga, the ruler of Owari province, who recruits two companions to his forces. He sent them to attack Imagawa Yoshimoto in a decisive battle of Okehazama, in which Hide kills Yoshimoto, making Nobunaga one of the front-running warlords in Sengoku era. Then Hide and Tokichiro head to Inabayama Castle, where Hide confronts Saito Yoshitatsu, the son of Dosan and current ruler of Mino province. By slaying him, Hide discovers that Yoshitatsu is his twin. Kashin Koji, the mysterious man from Hide's nightmares, appears from Yoshitatsu's corpse and vanishes. While celebrating the subjugation of Mino, Nobunaga grants Hide and Tokichiro, the two companions, a single name, Hideyoshi. As Nobunaga and Tokugawa Ieyasu's armies fight Azai and Asakura clans, Hide reaches Otani Castle to protect Nobugawa's sister, Lady Oichi, but is confronted by transformed Azai Nagamasa, the ruler of Omi province and Oichi's husband. Hide defeats him, and then Kashin Koji emerges again from Nagamasa's body and vanishes. Before long, Tokichiro is approached by Saito Toshimitsu, who bears the same red eyes that Yoshitatsu and Nagamasa had when possessed by Kashin Koji. He persuades Tokichiro in continuing his dream of Spirit Stone, and gives him the guardian spirit, Yumehame. Aided by Toshimitsu, Akechi Mitsuhide, one of Nobunaga's most important generals, attacks Honnoji and burns it, resulting in the death of Nobunaga and his wife, Orihime. Though Hide tries to rescue them, he is stopped by Toshimitsu, who summons Kasha, the servant of hell, to deal with Hide, while himself leaves. Then he soon betrays Mitsuhide, transforming into the conjoined twin yokai, Realman Sukuna, ravaging the battlefield with fire and water. After defeated by Hide, Kashin Koji leaves Toshimitsu's body and later is killed by Tokichiro and his forces, forcing Hide to flee, as he realizes that Tokichiro has been manipulated by Koji. Hide catches up with Mitsuhide, but spares his life, leaving together with Mumio. Hide meets Hattori Hanzo, a ninja, who persuades him to ally with Tokugawa Ieyasu, the ruler of Edo region. Living with a new personal, Tenkai, Mitsuhide warns Hide that Tokichiro's use of a spirit stone had turned him into an arrogant and aggressive man, and also asks Hide to help stop Tokichiro's advance. Hide goes, but is confronted by Tokichiro, obsessed with his spirit stone, fighting Hide, and has no choice but to kill him in the end. Unbeknownst to the living Hide, Kashin Koji approaches Tokichiro's corpse, resurrecting and possessing him. Then he causes the sky to glow red, turning all the yokai that allied with Tokugawa forces into crazed beasts. Hide is again confronted by the resurrected Tokichiro, who stabs him with his own dagger. Hide awakens in the interim, a gathering place for deceased souls, and meets his mother, Miyoshino, who reveals that Kashin Koji is Otakemaru, a powerful yokai that was sealed by a legendary sword, Sohayamaru. Sneaking into Tokichiro's base and using his spirit stones, Hide and Mumio successfully restore Sohayamaru by combining the former dagger with the later sword guard talisman. Then they head to Daigoji to confront Tokichiro one last time. Hiding behind a dance performance, the two attack Tokichiro by surprise, who flees immediately, leaving his yokai behind. Hide catches him in front of a cherry tree, freeing him from Kashin Koji's influence before he passes away. Koji appears and fights Hide but is defeated, leaving behind one of his horns. Hide heads to Temple Byodo-in, using Sohayamaru on Koji's horn to seal Otakemaru in the temple, while himself enters a comatose state. Sometime later, William enters the temple in pursuit of a Spanish adventurer, Maria. He awakens Hide in a true fight before Kashin Koji breaks the seal and flees. Returning to his senses, Hide allies with William to stop Maria from resurrecting Tokichiro. Trying to possess Tokichiro, Koji is stopped by Hide, forcing him to transform into Otakemaru's true form, which is ultimately defeated by Hide. Meanwhile, William captures Maria and returns to Hanzo, who's been looking after his son all along.